Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brianna and this is For a Pause in a Book. I make book and lifestyle related content, so if that's something you're interested in, make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. Today I'm going to do an absolutely unhinged vlog and read Star Wars books for Star Wars Day. May 4th is traditionally known as Star Wars Day. So therefore, I'm going to read Star Wars books. This is absolutely not an original idea. I believe that Bethany from Beautifully Bookish Bethany is also doing something like this because she's been reading a bunch of Star Wars books. So I'm gonna link her vlog down below because it's probably gonna be way better than mine. But I'm gonna read 3 Star Wars books. Now, I have never read a Star Wars book. I've watched all of the movies, all of the shows. Fun fact, Doyle, my big, huge Saberdoodle, his original name was BB-8. All of the puppies in that litter had Star Wars names, and he was originally BB-8. So, like, I am a Star Wars fan. I've just never read any of the books. So that's what we're gonna do today. So after doing some research, we have found that for the most part, books that are published post 2014 when Disney acquired the Star Wars universe, those are all canon. So books that are published post that, which is all 3 of these. Anything prior to that is considered lore and legend. But all of these are, I guess, considered canon. So let's talk about what we are going to be reading. The first one is The Princess and the Scoundrel by Beth Revis. This one I think is the one that's like the most popular, the one that a lot of people are talking about. It was published in late 2022, so it's definitely newer, but this is a Han and Leia retelling, or not retelling, but kind of like, you know, just furthering upon the Han and Leia story and the like romance. So this is like a sci-fi romance. Then the next 2 that I have are young adult books. The first one I have is Star Wars The High Republic, Path of Deceit by Tessa Gratton and Justina Ireland. These are authors that I have read from before, and this is about characters that are not necessarily in any of the movies or shows or anything like that. It takes place on the Outer Rim planet Dalma. It's become a focus of a Jedi investigation into a stolen Force artifact, and Zala Makari and her Padawan Kevmo arrive on the pastoral world to follow up on a possible connection to a Dalman missionary group called the Path of the Open Hand. Members of the Path believe that the Force must be free, should not be used by anyone, not even the Jedi. So this actually sounds really, really interesting. I'm excited to read this one. And then lastly, the book that I've actually already finished for this project before I even filmed the intro is Ahsoka by E.K. Johnston. I actually really wanted to read this one because there's another E.K. Johnston book in part of the Dungeons and Dragons world that I'm really interested in. So I wanted to read this one as well, and I found it on Panko for really cheap. And Ahsoka is probably one of my favorite Star Wars characters. She is mostly in the animated series, I think The Rebels, and it's been a while since I've watched them, and I usually binge them, so it's, I never remember their names. But anyways, she is, however, getting her own movie or show. Can't remember, but it's live action. I'm very excited about that. And I actually already finished this one, and I really, really enjoyed it, and I specifically really enjoyed the audiobook for it because it has a lot of mixed media in it and like these background sounds. You can hear the lightsabers, you can hear the like ships attacking and things like that. It definitely has this like radio theater vibe to it. This is definitely for a younger audience. I think that like you could give this to your 10-year-old kid and they would kind of get something out of it. It felt very low stakes because it felt middle grade to me, right? But I think that like if you liked those Clone Wars or Rebels shows, you would like this one as well. So I think I'm going to be giving it 4 stars. But a book that I highly recommend and an audiobook that I highly recommend as well. With that, let's get into the vlog portion of this video. Good afternoon. I am 20% of the way through The Princess and the Scoundrel by Beth Revis. And first off, I want to say that I'm wearing my Ewok shirt, and that is like fitting, right? Because this book has a ton of Ewoks in them, and as far as like species are concerned in the Star Wars universe, the Ewoks are one of my favorites. So I'm having a good time. Does this read like fanfic? Kind of. Yes, it does. But it's still like, it's fun, right? Like we just got to the wedding of Han and Leia, and it's just like, it's been happy so far. It does feel like really convenient. Like the story is like very low stakes, and it just kind of feels like things are happy and good. And I'm sure that that's going to change because otherwise we wouldn't have a book. but it's fun. I'm having a good time reading it. So I am about to get on a plane, so I will touch base with you when I get a little bit farther in. Hello, everybody. I have made it past the 50% mark of The Princess and the Scoundrel by Beth Revis, and unfortunately, my excitement for it has definitely diminished in this time since I talked to you last. And I think part of it is because I don't like Han. And I understand, like, so Han Solo in the movies is a grumpy asshole, right? Always has been. But this book is making it seem, I mean, like, he takes grumpy to a whole nother level. If you put Han Solo, like this version of Han Solo, and Roy Kent next to each other, Roy Kent would look like a freaking ray of sunshine compared to this grumpy man. And part of the other thing that I don't love about his character is that he's, I don't know, it almost feels like he's resentful of Leia and her position as an ambassador. So they go on their honeymoon, but it ends up becoming this like political ambassador like visit to this other country that they're trying to like basically let them know like, oh, the Empire is dead, like everything is fine, right? And he gets like pissed off that she has to go and like talk to the prime minister, and like, you know, it feels really resentful, like he's not doing anything with his life, and because of that it's her fault that she is. It feels, because even like he's even resentful of Luke and like everything that he's done with his life. And then like Leia is this, like this kind of starts the introduction of Leia learning about the Force. And Leia is concerned what Han will think if she starts using the Force. And that just, it feels wrong, right? Like it feels like their pairing doesn't work. And obviously this kind of takes place like post Rise of the Jedi, pre-Force Awakens. And there's obviously a big time jump because at the end of Rise of the Jedi, third movie, the names are so confusing. They're in love, they're happy, right? And so then this takes place like immediately after that. And then when you get to Force Awakens, you find out that Han and Leia are not together anymore. And so obviously like there is a time gap. Something happened in between that time. So this is a nice like fan service, right? That you get to see those happy moments, but like they're fighting on their honeymoon and it's giving off toxicity. And I don't know, like it's not, I don't love these two together. And I'm sure that I am in the negative opinion here. Because most of the reviews are saying that they love these two and but like he's so grumpy and for no reason. So, we'll see. I'm also, like, the pacing feels weird. I'm really enjoying the political aspect of it. It's more like boardroom politics than it is like vying for the throne kind of politics and like backstabbing politics, which is definitely my favorite. But there is some political like maneuvering and stuff like that, which I am enjoying that aspect of it. But then it's like when Han walks back in the room and I'm like, oh my God, my dude, like take it down a few notches. That's where we're at right now. I'm going to finish it. I've got about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours left on my listening speed. I will say the audiobook again is fantastic. It has all of the like background effects. It's two narrators for Han and Leia's perspectives. So I don't know if this is just a theme with Star Wars audiobooks. We'll have to see what happens with Path of Deceit, if that one also has this narration style. But if that's the case, I'll definitely read more Star Wars books for sure. Just won't be able to get to them done before Thursday. So anyways, I'm going to go finish this book and I will talk to you later. All right, I apologize for a vlog clip in the same spot, but I'm in a hotel and there are very few places where the lighting is okay. But I have finished The Princess and the Scoundrel. I'm giving this one 3 stars. I have the same problems that I had when I was talking to you at the 50% mark. There was like one point where Han was like, oh, I have to accept all of her, blah, blah, blah. But then like it never got any better. Like he never had a conversation with her about how he had been acting. It was just like self-reflection. And then And then nothing really happened. Nothing got better. I don't know. And then like at the end, like she ended up being like, oh, well, I'll spend more time with you. And it's just like, I don't know. It didn't work for me. So I'm going to give it 3 stars. I'm bummed. I think that if you really like Han and Leia and you really want to see a romance like post Return of the Jedi, this might work for you. But it didn't, I don't care. I did continue to like the politics part of it. It got a little bit more action-y, more like there was an assassination attempt. Like, it got interesting, like that part of it. But like every time Han had a chapter, I just didn't care. I didn't care. So I have now started the Path of Deceit. I always want to put a "the" in front of it, and it does not have one. Path of Deceit. I'm actually really, really loving this. Like, really loving this. This really blends the politics and the religion. So there are 2 different perspectives, and they are like on opposite sides. So we have the Jedi and her Padawan, which I always really love that mentor-mentee relationship in books. So that's really cool to like see that aspect of it. And then on the other side, we have a member of the Path of the Open Hand, which is this religious base on this planet where they essentially don't want people to use the Force, that the Force should be for everybody, but if you use it, or if you like manipulate the Force, then you're actually like causing ripple effects like into time, and you have no idea what you're doing, so they just don't use it. And I think that that's a really interesting metaphor for religion without being like Judeo-Christian. I think I've talked about this before, and it's definitely something that I've noticed, is that when I'm reading fantasy, or I guess in this case it's sci-fi, but like same thing. Anyway, when you're dealing with other worlds, I really like when we talk about religion in the books, but not when it is like Euro-Christian centric. So I really like when authors try to get creative with how they use religion and like not trying to fall back on our well-known single deity type god. I love it when authors get creative like that, and these authors are definitely doing that. So I am very much enjoying this. I am a little over 100 pages in. I think it's like, my audiobook says it's 35%. Again, has the like radio theater type aspect to it. So I am excited to finish it. I will definitely finish it today. I have to finish it today because it's the 3rd. And I need to finish this video so you guys can see it on the 4th. You know, it doesn't make sense outside of tomorrow. Okay, anyway, I'll talk to you later. Hello, everybody. I have finished my final book. I finished Path of Deceit last night on the flight home, and I really liked it. I think I'm gonna give it 4.5 stars. I think that feels right, which is really exciting because this video turned out to be like so mid, where like I liked the books but didn't love the books, but this one I really liked. It is a YA book, and so it has like a little YA romance, or like little like flirting type of like, you know, ooh, I like him kind of thing. But it didn't, like, it still went there. Like, it still killed characters. It still went dark. And it still really discussed the themes of religion and how we, like, hold tightly to that religion despite science and logic and experts telling us otherwise. It was a really interesting, like, social conversation there, and some parallels in place. Yeah, so I liked it. 4.5 stars. I'm very happy I read it. This one was the random choice. That like I literally was just like looking on Amazon. I've never seen anybody review this book. I've never seen anyone talk about this book. But it was just like, you might also like this, and that's where we went. So anyway, I'm glad I read that one, and I'm glad I saved it for the end too. But anyway, that's it. I read 3 Star Wars books, and you know, varying degrees of success, but I didn't hate any of the books, which is good. Anyways, that is all I have for you today. If you're new here and you have not yet subscribed, there is a little button that you can do so down below the video. If you'd like to hang out with me more, the links to my Instagram, Goodreads, Twitter, and my Patreon are linked in the description below. Thank you all for watching, and may the 4th be with you.